program, and also the government bring everybody together. So some of the things was mentioned in the survey, the specifications is something that we're trying to understand. Some of these specifications will actually say the product has to be petroleum-based. Well, if that's the specification, how can we rely on a third product to be used for that? So if we're trying to meet the right folks and have the right conversations, I think today is a good start. And a lot of good people in the last couple days, and look forward to some of the meetings we're going to have.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you're in the right place. David?
I'm David Bingenhammer, Global Technology Manager for Cargill Dielectric Fluids Group. We supply very technical products, so there's a lot of technical support required. We have to work in the standards community, do a lot of education, et cetera, and interfacing with engineers and what have you. So just very briefly, part of my education, what's a dielectric fluid in 30 seconds or less. In all those gray and green boxes and canisters you see next to buildings or hanging from poles or fenced-in yards, those transformers do energy conversion. So basically from an input format to an output format. Inside of the transformer, there's a bunch of electrically conductive materials and heat is generated. Now inside of most of those transformers, you use a dielectric fluid, which is an electric insulator to keep the electricity inside the box, and it's a coolant to keep the heat dissipated. So a dielectric fluid is a dielectric fluid. We make a bio-based product that's soybean-based, it's 90%. That has 3 redeeming qualities over the large petroleum-based incumbent product, which is mineral oil. We have a superior environmental profile, non-toxic, non-hazardous, biodegradable, carbon neutral, everything you want. It has a superior fire performance. It is a less flammable fluid. It has a fire point double that of mineral oil. There's never been a fire, and then after our 3, our product filled transformer. And 3, from a performance standpoint, it allows the transformer to operate longer. It slows the aging process or handle more load. So it's, I know I'm biased, but it's a really excellent product, and it's bio-based and sustainable also. We also won the 2013 Green Chemistry Award, so it's pretty well. We, in terms of supplying the government and interfacing with the government, now we're kind of a means to an end. End customers don't necessarily buy the fluid; they buy a transformer that happens to be filled with the fluid. So we supply all North American transformer manufacturers who all buy and use our product regularly. So what would happen is the government, it's DOD or whatever, will issue a specification that may or may not include vegetable oil, dielectric fluid, and our OEM customers will supply the product that way. We're also trying to get on GSA. We got a little bit of pushback there, and we're interfacing with that. The other thing that we would, as long as the EPA is here, the other thing that we would really like from the government and the EPA is some spill differentiation. Right now, we've conducted every analysis known to us anyway, in terms of toxicity and hazardous and ozone depletion, things like that. And our environmental profile is far superior to that of mineral oil. But the SPCC program right now, which is spill prevention, countermeasure, and control, basically says you should treat all oils the same from a maintenance standpoint. So if we had some differentiation there, you would really see natural esters really take off the game.
Very interesting. Thank you, David. And certainly, last but not least, Doug, would you like to share a little bit about yourself and your company?
Sure. Well, this one works.
Good.
Very good. My name's Doug Giles, and I'm from Dalton, Georgia. And it's pretty much known as the carpet capital of the world. Approximately 70% of all the carpets used in the United States is 50-mile radius. We're also in the synthetic turf industry, AstroTurf. Most folks are familiar with that. That's one of our companies. We're privately held, and what makes our group so unusual is that in 2002 we started using bio-based technologies, and at that point our objective was to decrease the use of petrol-based products. And I remember walking into some of the offices here in Washington, GSA, and talking about, would you like to keep some of that American money at home instead of going overseas to buy petrol? Does it bother you when you pull into the filling station, put gas in your car, you put gas, it was $2 a gallon? Look where we are today. I can assure you, when we walk into a customer, an architect, or building manager's office, and we start talking about creating American jobs, helping the American farmer using biobased, and going away from the petrol-based components, it is really a huge deal for us. The unique thing about our companies is not only do we own carbon companies and turf companies, and we actually make all the components used in those products, everything from pellets going into yarn on up, but we also service the industry. We do business with all carbon manufacturers, so that there's total access if you're doing business with a Shaw or a Mohawk, whichever company you choose to do business with. Our technology is available. I saw Performance come up a couple of times on the board. The reason people utilize our technology is because it's recognized as one of the top performance brands in the industry. We set a benchmark long ago that we can use bio-based, but it can never be higher priced and it can never provide less properties or physicals. So we're well into this thing, 13 years selling bio-based. It is becoming demanding above in the commercial sector. We do commercial hospitality, residential carpets. We've got some applications here for these homes from the, raise your hand back there for us. Right there's some box and carpet bio-based, and I appreciate that. But we have a lot of other people that does as well. In the federal government, from our perspective, as I talk to all the customers out there about what you were saying, do buy bio-based or want to buy, that message is delayed. It's a disconnect. Actually, it's the mic, it's not my voice changing, I'm too old. But there's a disconnect between your level here and all the way down to purchasing agents, maybe in Nebraska or wherever it is. We've got to get that message out there. A lot of sales deals today is done based off relationships than policies. And if they find a way to do it, they'll do it because it's somebody they play golf with or whatever it may be. But we find that the level of support at this level is fantastic. We got to figure out some way to take it on down to the bottom ranks. And we've got to make it simpler for manufacturers such as ourselves to get product-based in. And we're very pleased with the partnership, stakeholders, particularly Solving Board USDA for their support. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So now I'd like to have an open panel discussion, and I have a question that I'd like for you all to consider and provide some feedback to the audience. And the question is, building on what Doug asked, what can the federal government and companies do to work better together to put sellers in touch with buyers? So how do sellers find the right buyers, and how do buyers find the right sellers? Anyone like to start with that?
I'd be happy to. One of the things I think that you've got to do is through education. You've got to educate the sellers, and you've got to educate the buyers. Because if a seller walks into the room and the buyer is not knowledgeable, he's either got to be taught on the spot, but if he has some knowledge already, they will warm up to the conversation. So the more that you can educate your purchasing agents, and the more that we can educate our customer base to put the two together, that's what will help sell the product.
Thank you. Other thoughts, ideas? I want to give a little there. I do think that's a fundamental question.
Well, I heard what you're doing in agriculture, and I think that's a good start. I hear that Lisa, when her folks sign contracts that don't include the requirements and that aren't getting the biobased products, she's given her buying offices a call and saying what's going on, right? That's not true. And I think it takes some of that. We've done that. I've done that with Dave. I noticed that look when he said, we're under the gun, and he looked at me. But GSA and USDA are probably the leaders in the government, although I will tell a story. A couple of years ago, they were coming in, I'm in a GSA building, they came in to replace my carpet, and I said, I'm sorry, is that bio-based carpet? No. Is it recycled carpet? No. Is it backed by a bio-based backing? No. And so it took another 2 years before we actually got the carpet after we had moved out, because they didn't have the right stuff, and we just said, no, we don't want that. So, and I'm not a buyer, I'm not a specifier, I just went to the person who was in charge of the project and said, hey, we're supposed to be doing this, I'm holding the other agencies accountable, where's our products? So, I still never got the warranty from GSA that it was actually what we were asking for, but they assured me it was. Anyway, those are some of the things that we are trying to do, and we need help to do. Thank you, Sandy.
A couple of things I think that might help out, especially from industry. One of the problems we've found in the past is with greenwashing, and I think in the bio-preferred program it's a little more stringent than some of the others because there is USDA staying on top of this. But some of our folks out in the field are being vendors who come talk to them, and then we find out maybe later on that products don't meet the requirements that said they were supposed to meet. So certification, third-party certification, having the vendors come with that certification would be helpful, at least from a contracts perspective, because they're going to be required to start doing the stuff, and they want to make sure that what they're buying is truly what it's supposed to be. And then another area I think is, because of all our federal acquisition regulations and defense federal acquisition regulations, it's very difficult, I think it's almost impossible and maybe illegal to necessarily specify a company specifically. There may be sole source justifications in certain cases, but in general, that's got to be a competitive bid. And although we talk about best value in the federal government, my experience has been a lot of times it's still based on price, which is unfortunate. So I think what we're trying to do, what we need to try to do is as a team, as feds and industry together, try to come up with a better criteria for best value. Include some of these sustainability criteria in the best value as opposed to just, what really comes down to in a lot of cases, price. And having a company that demonstrates performance and is dedicated to try to have the price be competitive. I don't say it always has to be cheaper or the same, just competitive, because then what we can try to do is demonstrate life cycle cost savings. And that's another area that it's hard to fathom because, we're told life cycle cost is the way to go. You spend a little more up front, you're going to save it. Go out on the back end, as a homeowner, you might spend a few more bucks on some, energy efficient whatever, because you're going to save money. It's your pocketbook. The feds, a lot of times, it comes out of different pots of money. So the guy that's spending money up front isn't the one reaping the benefits down the road. So we're trying to break that thinking as well. But having industry help us with that, I think, go a long ways. And so to have competition amongst partnership and competition. So I have the opportunity to go to several vendors in a category where then we can get best value as opposed to trying to have to sole source.
Excellent points.
One thing I'd like to add is I think this talk is a good place to start. If some type of a subcommittee could be formed between the industry and the government, because we do need to move it beyond this discussion because, since we do not sell the government, we're sitting back trying to figure out who we need to talk to, how we can put it together. So I think something like that, I know a lot of our customers are excited about this, but they're asking us for answers that we don't answer to. So if we could kind of move forward in that direction, if we could put a working team together of how we can do this education that we're talking about, both in the industry and the government, I think that would be a good way to move forward.
Excellent idea. So I do have a couple other questions. I could ask some panel members, but I want to make sure we have enough time for the audience to ask questions. So is there, I see a hand up over here. Do you have a question you'd like to ask?
Yes, to the people on the end, sorry,
Sandy.
you've talked a lot about some of the regulations required with the sign of our contracts, right? What specific are some of those that are out there?
I think I was referring to the contract clauses that say that it's mandatory to buy the designated bio-based products, and then the specification for how much is in there is what I was referring to, I believe. But there is,
requesting that mandate that clauses, requirements be in all janitorial, all maintenance and repair contracts, construction, vehicle maintenance, food and cafeteria. That there be source selection evaluation factors, that biobased is one of them. The mandatory training that now all members of acquisition community of agriculture has to take, and that training is going to be available to other people. You are doing, I think, what other agencies are doing. You're stepping up, and I think, to all acquisition community. It doesn't matter if you're in the Forest Service in Gallup, New Mexico, or if you're in the Agricultural Resource Service in Beltsville, Maryland. Those are things that are needed